Welcome to Short Movie Channel. The movie starts with a gang leader named Michael, who is at an auction for a very rare painting. We learn that the auction is taking place in Spain, but the painting is in London. It turns out that two members of Michael's team are in London to steal the painting, and their names are Luke and John. Michael is with them, waiting on his boat until John steals the painting from the vault, and then they plan to escape together. Meanwhile, there's an Interpol investigator named Abby, who is monitoring everything that's going on. It turns out that Abby has information about the heist that Michael is planning to execute. At the auction, Michael keeps bidding on the painting, and there's a person named Molly who keeps raising the bid against him, but Michael increases the amount until it reaches $20 million. The painting is then announced as sold to Michael. At the same time, one of Michael's gang members, Mira, manages to hack into the security systems and triggers the alarm, causing a huge commotion, which leads to the auction being stopped. Michael takes advantage of the chaos and goes to the painting's owner, telling him that he has paid him $20 million, but has not received the painting due to the security breach. Michael convinces the painting's owner to go with him on a trip to his yacht until the painting is delivered. The owner agrees and goes with him. They both leave the place together. Back in London, John reaches the vault where the painting is kept, successfully opens it, steals the painting, and places it in a metal tube. He throws it to Luke, who grabs it and quickly escapes with it. Back in Spain, one of Michael's gang members is waiting on a boat. Michael, Mira, and the painting's owner board the boat and quickly escape the location. At the same time, Abby, the investigator, is at the museum and continues looking for Michael and his gang until she spots them escaping on the boat. She immediately gives chase. Michael and his crew skillfully escape with the boat, successfully evading Abby. Later, Michael and his crew arrive at the yacht, and Michael tells the painting's owner that he managed to sell the painting on the black market for $90 million. He explains that the sale was completely fake, and that he successfully stole the painting from London. The only thing left is for the owner to give him the NFT codes linked to the painting so that Michael can complete the sale. In return, Michael will give the painting's owner $40 million. The owner agrees to give Michael the codes, and they celebrate their agreement. The next day, Abby is at Interpol headquarters, where she meets with her boss, a man named Hickson. They discuss one of Interpol's missions in exchange for dropping all charges against her and her team. Hickson explains the mission to Abby, which involves a heist of a gold shipment belonging to a businessman named Lars. Hickson tells Abby that this businessman will transport the shipment from London to Zurich, Switzerland, where it will be handed over to a hacker terrorist group. In return, the hackers will infiltrate the infrastructure systems of a European city, sabotage the water control systems, and flood the city completely. This will allow Lars to control the stock market and make billions of dollars. Abby expresses her reluctance to cooperate with Michael, but Hickson explains that they have no other choice, especially since Interpol has been monitoring Lars for a long time without finding any evidence against him. Now, the only option is to ruin Lars's deal with the hackers, which will make the hackers refuse to cooperate with him, and the operation will be cancelled. Abby is convinced by his reasoning. That night, Abby visits Michael at his house and presents the mission to him. We learn that Abby and Michael had a friendship in the past, back when they were in Paris. At that time, Abby didn't know that Michael was the leader of a criminal gang, and he had used her to carry out one of his heists. Michael tries to remind her of the good times they had together, but Abby rejects his words and asks him to make a decision about the mission she proposed. Michael agrees, but on the condition that she will join him on the mission. Abby agrees because she has no other option. The next day, Michael meets with his crew and presents the mission to them. Despite its difficulty, the whole team agrees, especially when they find out their criminal records will be completely wiped clean. Then, Abby starts explaining the details of the mission, telling them that Lars will be transporting the gold on a private plane and that they need to steal it before it reaches the hacker gang. After that, Michael and his crew lay out their plan. They decide to hijack the plane carrying the gold by using another plane, flown by Camila, one of their crew members, to fly underneath it. At the same time, Mira will hack the surveillance systems and manipulate the air traffic control monitors. Meanwhile, they'll reroute the gold-carrying plane to a private airstrip they control. Once the plane lands, John will crack open the vault, seize the gold, and transfer it to their own plane. The first thing they need for their plan is a private jet. So, Michael approaches Molly, the businessman who had been bidding against him at the auction, and offers to buy his private plane. Molly refuses at first because he can't afford to sell it, especially since he's made illegal modifications to the aircraft, like adding display screens embedded in the fuselage that can project anything. But Molly is stunned when he realizes Abby is with Interpol and that he's already admitted to violating international aviation laws by making unauthorized modifications. As a result, he could be arrested, and the plane could be confiscated. However, Abby settles for just seizing the plane and lets him go. With their plan successful, Michael and Abby take the jet to a secret hideout, where the crew starts modifying it for the mission. They install special radar-absorbing metal to avoid detection and outfit the plane with multiple cameras to assist Camila during the flight. Next, Camila meets up with her friend Harry, who works in the air traffic control tower at Zurich Airport. She manipulates him into rerouting the gold plane to their private airstrip. Harry agrees to help because he could lose his job and future if he refuses. Michael offers him $1 million for his cooperation, and Harry quickly accepts. On the day of the heist, Michael and his team board the gold transport plane, accompanied by Mira, John, and Dante. They notice a group of Lars' men are also on board, guarding the vault beneath the plane. Michael confirms everyone is in position, but he's shocked to discover Luke isn't with them, having backed out at the last minute. As a result, Camila takes over Luke's role in the operation. Meanwhile, she's also piloting the second plane, flying close behind the gold transport. As the gold plane approaches Zurich Airport, Michael gives the order to move. He starts decoding the vault's lock to open it. At the same time, Abby gets up and heads to the bathroom to activate a signal jammer, hiding Camila's plane as it closes in. But the device slips from her hands and scatters across the floor. She frantically tries to reassemble it, and Michael scolds her for the delay before helping her put it back together. Meanwhile, Camila successfully maneuvers her plane directly beneath the gold transport, matching its speed. Mira contacts Harry in the control tower, instructing him to tell the pilot to divert to their private airstrip. Harry relays the message, claiming there's an emergency in Zurich and they must reroute. Afterward, Abby and Michael exit the bathroom, drawing suspicion from one of Lars' men. At the same time, the flight attendant announces to the passengers that they'll be robbed if they land in Zurich, threatening to inform the pilot to continue to the original destination. But Michael attacks one of Lars' men, while Abby takes down another, leading to an intense fight. Michael and Abby overpower the guards, knocking them out, and move toward the vault. Suddenly Cormac, Lars' right-hand man, appears and pulls a gun on them. At that moment, the plane touches down on the private runway, which is covered in snow. The aircraft skids, but the pilot regains control and lands, though the plane is damaged. Simultaneously, Camila lands her plane right behind the gold transport. Inside the plane, Cormac and Lars' men have captured Michael, John, and Abby, uncovering the entire plan. Cormac reports everything to Lars, who orders him to immediately reroute the plane to his estate in Italy. Cormac and his men drag Michael and the others onto Camila's plane. He threatens Camila at gunpoint, forcing her to prepare for takeoff to Italy so they can transfer the gold to another plane. Camila warns him the plane can't handle that much weight, so Cormac orders one of his men to take John away and execute him. He tells Camila, "The load's lighter now. If you want it even lighter, I can kill the rest of your friends." With no choice, everyone complies, and Camila prepares to follow his orders. At that time, Hickson knew what had happened and realized that Lars' men had taken control of the plane. He gave orders to his assistant to immediately search for the plane. After that, Camilla flew the plane toward Lars' house. While in the air, she came up with a clever idea. She decided to increase the speed of the plane and suddenly tilt it. This would get rid of the metals on the body of the plane, which would make the plane appear on radar, allowing Interpol to locate it. Camilla's plan succeeded, and the plane showed up on the radar. However, Hickson called the Air Force, claiming that the plane had terrorists on board, and asked them to shoot it down in midair. It was clear that Hickson was only concerned with keeping the gold from reaching the president. At that moment, John managed to get rid of the man who was about to kill him and escaped quickly. Meanwhile, in Italy, Lars was welcoming the leader of the hacker gang and apologizing for the modification in the plan. He told her the plane with the gold was about to arrive. On the plane, Camelia was shocked when she saw fighter jets telling her to surrender immediately, or they would destroy her plane in 60 seconds. But Comac gave Camelia the chance to communicate with them, asking her to increase her speed and continue her path. However, Abi and Michael attacked Comac and his team, leading to a fierce fight. Abi used the control device and typed a message on the screen of the plane's body, saying that there were civilians on board. Camelia then turned the plane so the fighter jets could see the message. As soon as the jets saw the message, they cancelled the mission and forgot about it. Later, Camelia activated the autopilot, but the plane lost balance and started tilting toward the ground. At that moment, she noticed Comac near the plane's door, so she used the control device to open it. Just as she did, Michael shot Comac and threw him out of the plane. Afterward, Abi closed the door again, and they went to the cockpit to check on Camelia. They realized that she wouldn't be able to control the plane, so Michael quickly took over and managed to stabilize it. By that time, the plane had reached Lars' house, and Camelia gave Michael instructions to land. However, Michael landed the plane very badly and was about to crash into Lars' house, but the plane stopped just in front of it at the last moment. Lars and his men ran toward the plane quickly. Lars grabbed his weapon and threatened Michael, but the leader of the hacker gang decided to cancel the mission after receiving information that Interpol knew everything. Despite Lars trying to convince her he was in control of the situation, she insisted on her decision, and she shot and killed him. Soon after, Italian forces arrived and pointed their weapons at Lars. He claimed it was his house and that Michael and his team had broken in, killing one of his guests. The police pointed their weapons at Michael and his team, but Michael activated the screen on the plane's body, showing footage from the plane's cameras. The footage revealed Lars killing the leader of his gang, which led to his arrest along with his men. Then a helicopter arrived, and Hickson and his men came down from it. Abi learned from one of her colleagues that Hickson had been the one who asked the Air Force to shoot down the plane. She became angry, slapped him, handed over her badge, and told him that she was resigning. After that, she went to Michael and Camelia, got into their boat, and they left the area. A week later, Michael was in his car with Abi and told her that he had stolen the gold from the plane. They had loaded a fake shipment of gold onto the same plane that was carrying Lars' gold. John managed to switch the shipments, placing the fake shipment in the plane's safe and throwing the real shipment out of the plane to be picked up by Luke. Luke was able to control it and direct it to the desired location. Later, Michael arrived at a specific spot by the river, where all their team members had gathered. Michael took the control device from Luke and handed it to Abi to use. As soon as Abi pressed a certain button on the device, the gold shipment emerged from beneath the water. Michael and his team rejoiced because they were now very wealthy and wouldn't need to do any more jobs for the rest of their lives. The movie ended there. If you enjoyed the film, don't forget to like the video and leave your thoughts in the comments.